You know, in the wild world of blockchain scaling, it feels like almost everyone is running in the same direction. But today, we're going to talk about a project that's making a completely different bet. A bet on a future where blockchains don't just move money around, but can actually compute things that seem impossible today. This is the story of Starknet. So, to really get Starknet, you have to understand this fundamental choice that every layer 2 faces, right? Do you take the easy path, make your network compatible with Ethereum so developers can just copy and paste their existing apps? Or do you take the hard path, build something totally new from scratch to unlock possibilities that we haven't even dreamed of yet? Well, Starknet slammed the button for the hard path. So, in this L2 arms race, where most projects are just trying to be a cheaper, faster version of Ethereum, Starknet's ambition is just different. They're paving a whole new road. And this is the absolute core of it. Starknet isn't just trying to scale transactions, it wants to be a verifiable cloud computing layer. Think about that for a second. It's being built for crazy complex applications. Imagine trying to run the entire physics engine for a massive online game on-chain, or doing super sophisticated financial modeling. That stuff is way too expensive to run anywhere else. That's the problem Starknet wants to solve. Okay, so how on earth are they planning to do that? Well, their whole approach is built on 3 key technologies that are intentionally not like Ethereum. And understanding these pillars really shows you why they chose that harder path. The first pillar, and really the engine behind everything, is the Stark proof. It's basically a form of cryptographic magic. It lets the network do a ton of heavy computation off-chain and then create one tiny, perfect receipt that proves it was all done correctly. And the really crucial part, it does this without a trusted setup, which is kind of like a secret ceremony that other systems need. And if that ceremony is ever compromised, it's a huge security risk. Now, to use those powerful Starks, you need a special language. And that language is Cairo. Look, this is a huge ask for developers. They can't just bring their old code over. They have to learn a completely new way of building. But that's the trade-off. It's that very specialization that unlocks the insane computational power Starknet is chasing. And this third pillar, this is a game changer for regular users. On most blockchains, your wallet is basically just a key, simple but dumb. On Starknet, every single account is a smart contract from the get-go. What does that mean for you? It means you can have things like social recovery, letting your friends help you get your account back. It means you could pay transaction fees with a stablecoin instead of ETH. You could even use your phone's Face ID to approve things. It turns your wallet from a simple key into a programmable smartphone. All right, so we've got the pieces. Let's pop the hood and see what actually happens when you send a transaction through the system. It's this elegant 3-step process. First, you submit your transaction, and a node called a sequencer puts it in line. Then, a prover grabs a massive batch of these transactions, does all the heavy lifting, and generates that single tiny Stark proof. Finally, that little proof gets sent to Ethereum, where it's checked super fast, and boom, the whole batch gets the full security of the main network. But hey, not all proofs are created equal. Starknet's choice to use Starks over the more common Snarks was a really big deal. We already mentioned avoiding that risky, trusted setup, but there's more. Starks are also believed to be quantum resistant. They're making a bet on future-proofing the network's security against computers that don't even exist yet. That's playing the long game. And here's a super clever detail, kind of the secret sauce. A safety layer called Sierra. See, in most systems, if a transaction fails, you can't create a proof for it. That's a huge problem because a spammer could just flood the network with transactions they know will fail, and it wouldn't cost them anything. Sierra fixes this. It makes it possible to prove that a transaction failed, which lets the network charge a fee anyway and protect itself. It's a small detail that's absolutely vital for building a decentralized network. Okay, the tech sounds incredible, right? But let's get real for a minute. Is this hard path strategy actually working? Is anyone building on this thing? Let's look at the numbers and see what's actually happening on Starknet today. First off, let's talk about the money. We're looking at nearly $500 million in total value locked on the network. Now, that doesn't make it the biggest L2 out there, not by a long shot, but it proves it's a serious player. It's securing real assets and has built a really solid foundation to grow from. And this is where you start to see the bet really paying off. Just look at the explosion in on-chain gaming projects. This is exactly the kind of computation-heavy stuff that Starknet was designed for. This isn't just random growth. This is proof that their big idea is attracting the exact kind of builders who need what only Starknet can do. So, where's the value concentrated? Well, you've got the usual suspects, lending platforms, for sure. But what's really interesting is the diversity you're starting to see. A strong derivatives platform, an up-and-coming real-world asset project, it shows the ecosystem is getting more sophisticated and moving beyond just the basics. But we gotta be honest here. Taking the hard path comes with real challenges, and it's important to look at the risks. Right now, the network is still pretty centralized. The sequencer, the thing that orders all the transactions, is run by the main company, Starkware, and the core contracts can be upgraded instantly by a small group of people. These are major hurdles to overcome on the journey to decentralization. So, if today is all about finding a niche with high computation apps, what's the grand vision? Where is all of this headed? This is where Starknet's bet gets truly ambitious, and you see the why behind this whole difficult journey. First things first, they know about those centralization risks we just talked about, and they have a clear plan to fix it. They're moving through phases, step by step, with the goal of ending up with a fully permissionless network where anyone can participate, turning it into a true public good. And here it is, the end game. The ultimate goal isn't just to be another layer 2 for Ethereum. The vision is to become a shared computational layer that can serve both of crypto's giants, to be a bridge between the two biggest ecosystems in the world, Ethereum and Bitcoin. And this isn't just talk, they're already taking real steps. A proposal just passed that will let people use Bitcoin to help secure the Starknet network. This is a brilliant move. It massively boosts the network's security, and at the same time, it starts building that bridge to bring the trillions of dollars locked up in the Bitcoin ecosystem into the fold. Which brings us to the final massive question. Starknet made a bold, high-conviction bet. They chose future potential over what's easy today. So, is this intense focus on pure computation and a whole new programming language a visionary glimpse of what all blockchains will need to become? Or is it a huge gamble that risks leaving the vast majority of today's developers behind? The answer to that is probably going to define the next chapter for all of crypto scaling.